Alright guys, so today we're going to be discussing squat technique a little bit, okay? And particularly how you actually initiate the squat and how you, navigate the movement thereafter. So what joints you actually avail of the range at. One of the things that we know is that, the ankle joint is one of the biggest limiting factors in squat depth. So if you do not have the mobility required for you to get into a certain squat position, it's generally going to be the ankle that's the limiting factor. But we can't look at that in isolation, okay? So if we look here, you'll notice that I'm breaking at the hips during the squat, okay? So I'm starting by kicking my hips back, not availing of my ankle range early on, and availing of it later instead. So I'm flexing at the hips, then I'm breaking the knees, letting them come forward, and then hitting the end of my ankle range, okay? There are other ways of navigating the squat, however. You can initiate with the knees first, as you saw there. So what happens then is we get to the end of the ankle range of motion much sooner, okay? And a lot of people will find that that limits their squat depth, like here. But what you'll see is when I push the knees out into abduction and external rotation, you begin to avail of more of the hips available range because we're not just looking at pure flexion. So there's pure flexion, and then there's more abduction and external rotation. As a result, we're availing of more range at the hip, and hence, while our ankle might be maxed out, we're still able to actually get deeper into the squat. So it is important to look at it as a 3D system, okay? And one of the things that's important to keep in mind here as well is that some of you may have, assessed your active range of motion at the hip, and then you look at your squat and you realize that, oh, you actually go much deeper than that, yet you still feel in control. And one part of that, or the big explanation really, is the fact that you're using more abduction and external rotation. So here's me assessing my hip flexion, okay? So that's pure hip flexion coming up into my active range. But if I then come out into abduction and push up, then I've got more available. So I'm then able to avail of that range during my squat by using that cue to push the knees out and make sure that I am actually in an abducted and externally rotated position, as opposed to staying, with the classic shoulders width, knees straight forward kind of squat that maybe some of you may have been advised to do in the past.